Hey, Dr. Sherry, where are we today?
Uh, we're at the United Nations International School at Jamaica Estates, New York.
What?
Yep.
This is going to be a good episode.
It's going to be a fabulous episode. Can't wait to do it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Breaking It Down. We're here today at the very cool United Nations School in these tiny chairs. I feel like I'm back in grade school, but I have two very brilliant people next to me, and they're going to talk to you guys about children's books and how important they are for our value systems and just growing up in general. Take it away.
It's amazing. So I have to say again that it's so great to see you as the principal of this school.
Thank you.
I think you wore 100 hats, right, when my children were
When
here?
your children were here,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. So it's great to see your vision of this school and your integrity and, coming to fruition because you've always had that vision.
Well, thank you. I love the Queens campus. Eunice is a fabulous school, and the Queens campus in particular, because it is small. We really, really are very invested in not just literature, which is what we're here to talk about today, but the arts, but the other academics. So, but I do enjoy a chance, even as a math teacher, to talk about literature.
That's right. And more importantly, I think that the overall writing feel for this place is that you build children with character, respect for tolerance, of diversity, and activism in community.
Yeah,
And-
our mission is grounded in the UN.
Yeah.
And we take that very seriously. We're an international baccalaureate school, so the learner profile dispositions are important to us. And it is important, our mission is that we are educating children to shape a better world. So
Right.
that's the bottom line.
Exactly. And you do that really well.
Thanks.
And with that in mind, not doing really well on the readers
Not
list,
shaping a better world.
No, was Dick and Jane, and I happened to find this when I was
Oh,
looking
Lordy.
for books the other day, children's
Yeah.
books, and we were discussing it a little bit off camera.
Yeah.
This was what the boomers grew up on, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and I remember reading this as a kid, or because it's just a reinforcement, and it was incredibly boring. And I said, everybody tells you that literature opens your mind, and I remember even being 3 or 4 and saying, this is not opening my mind. There's
No.
got to be more than this to this world.
And everybody read this.
Right, you did too,
It was
right?
everywhere. I'm older than you, and we read it, Dick and Jane, yep. And the certainly looking at Fluff and Spot, and it was everything stereotypical that you might think, but published in 1930 originally. So and still republished recently in
In the 70s, right?
in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I think in the republishing, it looked like they did a little bit of
Editing.
editing. Yes.
We both noticed
We
it.
both noticed
Yeah,
it.
because the original version did not have anybody of color on the cover at all.
No.
Or in any of the
Or
stories.
in any of the stories.
Yeah.
So there's actually, I guess they're trying to modernize it, but there's no way you can modernize this and make it,
Make it
something that's important for beginning reading.
And this should be, I think, a historic
Yes.
piece maybe to have somewhere and to say this is what we don't
In a museum.
appreciate. Exactly. And with that
Yes.
in mind, I'd love to know what you read to the kids.
We have a wide range of books here. Our feelings about reading is once kids are reading, and our children start reading in kindergarten, they build their phonetic skills, they build their sight vocabulary. They read from a series of trade books, because why not give kids literature, rich literature? We have a wonderful range from authors, from very simple books right through. So why are we giving them artificial things to read? Two of my favorite books
I can't wait to hear.
are Stella Luna.
Oh, I love that.
And I love Stella Luna and Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
And I think they're wonderful books because they have it's a wonderful story. They have wonderful illustrations. And the message for kids is just so important. Stella Luna is about a little baby bat, and the bat gets separated from his mother. And especially when you're talking to kindergarten kids and you read this book to them, because for some of them, even though they've been in nursery school often, they come to kindergarten, there are starting to be more demands on them academically, and they're away from their mothers for longer periods of time, from their families for longer periods of time. And it kind of takes them, it's something they can relate to. And the little baby bat finds a home with a group of birds in a nest. And as kind as the birds can be, Stella Luna is a bat. Mm-hmm. And every time the bat tries to do what the birds do, it doesn't really work. Okay. So it's kind of, you feel for this little bat and trying to fit in. And that's a message for all of us, right?
Sure.
We all try to fit in, even if sometimes we're the round peg in the square hole.
Right.
And it's fine to be the round peg. And eventually, obviously, he gets reunited, and he finds he's the round peg, and he finds the round hole. And it's such a great message for kids, because it's not just finding yourself, but it's when you're with other people, and you're there while they're finding themselves. So how do you relate to other people as well? The birds were really, they got a little bit frustrated at times with him, but they kind of were trying to help him.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what we need to do, and that's part of the message we have for our kids, is that we celebrate differences, all kinds of differences. And in school, it's important for kids to understand that, so that they work together, they learn to collaborate. One of the messages we get from the world of business when we graduate our kids is that they need to know how to work together, because very few of us work in a vacuum. So from early on, anything that promotes collaboration and kids working together is a valuable lesson for them to learn. The other story that I love is Chrysanthemum.
I love that as
and
well.
And Chrysanthemum is this cute little mouse who has this mouthful of a name, and she loves her name, and she's so happy with her name because it's this beautiful flower. And she goes to school, and now she's got this big long name, and it doesn't go over so well with her classmates, and they kind of make fun of it. And for us in an international school, we have kids with all kinds of names.
Oh my goodness, yeah, absolutely.
So our kids are very used to names that are different,
Right.
but it's just that idea of maybe it's your name that's different, maybe it's something else that's different. And you really see her self-esteem take a dive
Right.
because of other people.
Right.
And that's a message for the kids, is that it's important to be who you are and happy in your own skin, no matter what happens around you and how other people may react or interact with you. That strength of being yourself is really important.
And while you're developing it, I think it's equally important for people to understand that their actions have repercussions which are not necessarily short-lived, but can change the trajectory of somebody's life.
Of life, yeah, because she's so affected
So
by what her friends think. And even though her parents are telling her, that she has a beautiful name and it's wonderful, and in the end, she winds up being in a class where a teacher makes such a big deal and says what a beautiful name she has. And once that person says that, it changes the whole piece.
Groupthink changes.
The groupthink. But it is an important message, especially it's a book for little ones, but it's actually a book for everyone. And one of the things I find with this is especially middle schoolers, because middle schoolers are so affected by their peers.
Absolutely.
You get that shift in elementary school where the teacher, the parents, the kids they're just dying to please the adults. And then they hit middle school, and those people take a back seat, and their peers become their judge and jury. And everything they say, do, wear, act, they're looking for their peers for that kind of reassurance that it's fine. So it's a book I like to bring back at that age and kind of discuss, again, figure out who you are and strength of character for who you are. Because, in the end, it's, know thyself.
Exactly. And if you're not comfortable in your own skin, then you can't achieve what you're meant to achieve, and you can't help others achieve what they are meant to achieve.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fabulous. Thank you.
You're welcome.